Hey everyone, if you're brand new to Raid Shadow Legends, then welcome to my series, especially if you just downloaded it today. This is going to be episode 1 of our super simple 2025 starter champ series. Today we're going to be starting with none other than Kael, which is the #1 pick for beginners. All right, now first and foremost, how do you acquire this beautiful specimen of a character? Well, good news, or maybe bad news for you. Good news, Kael is someone you can simply pick at the very beginning of the game as one of your starter champions. Bad news, if you don't do that, you're gonna have to work a little bit harder for him. Good news, if you just started playing the game and you're not that far in, you can just simply restart and pick Kael. The easiest thing for you to do is support the channel by checking out the link in the description below. You're going to get a free legendary champion as well as up to $200 worth of free goodies. And don't forget up to 3 awesome epics as you level up inside of Raid. And be sure to use the code Desert Queen to get access to your new free legendary champion in the form of Tahana Rock. As always, this helps the channel out so much, guys, so be sure to check that description down in the link below and join me in Raid today. So what are we doing here? Why is Kael on our team and how are we going to build him? Well, this is gonna be super simple. I'm going to explain it like you're 5 years old. Now, Kael here is gonna be a poison mage from the Dark Elves faction. Poison is going to be the star of the show with this character. He's going to allow you to do many great things in both single target as well as AoE circumstances. Why is he so strong for someone as a new player? Well, poison is going to be based off of a percentage of the maximum health an enemy has. So as you're acquiring new characters, he's going to scale with you. As you're acquiring new gear, he's going to scale with you. As you're fighting harder and harder enemies, bosses, PvP, he is going to scale with you there. We can see this at Dark Bolt level 1, which has a 2.5% HP poison, and even Disintegrate, which is going to be one of his other skills you will gain access to, which attacks 4 times at random and has a 5% poison debuff that lasts 2 turns. This is absolutely amazing and will help you melt bosses in single target circumstances, as this poison is going to do 5% of their max health 2 times, as it has a 2-turn duration, and you can put up to 4 of these on a single enemy with 1 cast of Disintegrate. And on top of that, when you're fighting easier monsters, just getting through the story, trying to eliminate weaker monsters in a battle, he also has access to Acid Rain, which is an attack scaling ability, which is going to help you as you acquire better gear to boost the damage of it. But on top of that, it has a ability attached to it that allows Kael to turn meter push for every enemy that he defeats. So even in circumstances where there's one big enemy and multiple small enemies, you can use Acid Rain, take all the small ones out, get another turn from all of that turn meter push, and then activate Disintegrate, which takes away the downside of this being a random. You're going to defeat everything with his other skill, Acid Rain, and then just put all of these poisons on the single target big boss enemy that's left. So it's both great in single target as well as AoE circumstances, and because of this poison debuff that he has access to, he's going to scale with you as you're doing harder and harder content, meaning he's going to be useful weeks and months into your gameplay sessions of Raid Shadow Legends. So his goal in your party is going to be that mainstay damage dealer between those 2 skills that do poison, as well as his AoE skill we already talked about. In addition to that, he's also going to help buff up your team a little bit in survivability, as he has an aura that increases all of your allies' max HP in battle by 15%, which helps give you a little bit of leeway in some of the harder fights as you're scaling up and just progressing through Raid. So exactly where is it that you're going to be using him at? What content does he excel in? And the good news for Kael is, well, he is great everywhere, especially as a starter. He is going to carry you hard through campaign areas. As you can see, he's got a 4.8 rating inside of the game. Many players are happy with this man. But on top of that, he's great for clan boss. His poisons do a ton of damage to the clan boss over time. He's able to clear waves in the spider and minotaur fights, something you're going to be progressing towards in a pretty stellar fashion with Kael on your team. And then in addition to that, you can even use him in PvP arena fights, as you're able to do a massive amount of damage with his A2, and then followed up with some additional poisons on some enemies for those early arena battles to knock off some of the people who maybe have higher health. Everyone likes to know, and everyone loves to put like their one big character when they're first playing a gacha PvP game, accelerate that man to max level, fill out the rest of the team with weaker characters. And Kael even is great there. When you fight those guys, you're just going to take off their 3 weak guys and then dump a bunch of poisons on their strong guys, leaving you the victor in a lot of PvP matchups. Now, as Kael's going to be the main damage dealer in your team, and lucky for you in future videos, which you should totally check out by the way, as Kael's role is the damage dealer in your party, you might be asking, well, what other kind of characters should I be pairing him with? And well, I'll give you a temporary answer right now, but this is the first part of a video series, and we'll be covering, well, some other characters specifically to pair with Kael in those videos. But for right now, just pair him with some sort of speedy healer that can give speed buff to your team, keep that tempo up. Someone like a tank to mitigate damage, maybe debuff the enemies, draw their aggro, lock them down. Some other character like a support as well, either to buff up the damage that Kael is going to do, or also lower the damage of the enemies. You're gonna make that generic fantasy party, right? Like every other RPG out there. DPS, healer, support, tank, and it's gonna work well for you with Kael on your team. Now you might be asking, which of these skills should I be maxing? Which ones are the most important? As you can see, there's a mix of damage as well as percentage increased chances to landing the very important poison debuffs on Kael. And honestly, at the end of the day, he is really worth investing everything into him so you can max out the debuffs as well as the damage bonuses. One of the big ones for bosses is going to be Disintegrate. You'll be able to max this out to level 6. It's going to reduce that turn cooldown from 5 down to 4, and it's also going to increase that poison chance from the 40 base up to a 50 base, meaning that you should on average against a single target land at least 2 of these, even with minimum gear, which is going to sap off 20% of the boss's HP with just 2 poisons every single time you cast Disintegrate. On top of that though, if you're looking for some AoE, you want to clear out the content of the story mode, the campaign a little bit faster, Acid Rain just simply gets a damage buff here, and this can help you break those thresholds as you're leveling him, using him in the campaign where he actually is able to defeat the enemies as you cast Acid Rain, which is going to give him that turn meter push so he can then take another action as well. Lastly is Dark Bolt, which is his filler skill. This is the one that you're going to cast when his A2 and his A3 are on cooldown. It's going to do a little bit of damage, and it's going to put that poison on him as well. You do want to max this one out eventually because this will go to a 100% poison chance at level 5 up from the base 80, but it is the filler move, and I wouldn't blame you if this was the last one that you maxed out on Kael. Now when it comes to building Kael early on and for getting through campaign content and even having him help you carry your team through bosses, if you can get your hands on a lifesteal set, which is 5 pieces, this is going to be great. You can also match this with like a 2-piece speed set. This helps sustain himself with that lifesteal, especially if he is going to be the only person that you're leveling up first. This is going to be the first guy you max on your account. Giving him lifesteal helps him sustain longer, and he can really just carry you even harder on a lifesteal set all the way through most of the campaign because he's got that built-in self-sustain. So if we're looking for gloves, we're going to want crit rate percent. This is going to help our damage, especially on our A2, doing AoE damage, making sure we're clearing out the waves on the campaign easier and faster and more efficient. Try to get 80% plus eventually if you can on the crit rate stat. Chest, we're going to go for attack percent here. We just want to do more damage. He scales off of attack. It just makes sense. Boots, we want speed here. I know he's a damage dealer, but we still want our characters to take turns, especially when we're getting into putting a team around Kael together. You're probably going to put someone in your party that gives like speed buff to your team and speed down to the enemy. So we want to make sure that our base speed isn't 0. We want to actually be a little bit faster on our Kael, although we don't need to be crazy fast. But if you can get to like 150, 160 on Kael, that would be a great place to start out for you. And then for other slots, you can just fit in some attack as well as some accuracy if you want to stick those poisons on bosses, especially when you're starting to get into some of the higher, harder bosses. You want to get to like 100, 150 accuracy on your Kael. Outside of that, the substats here, we're naming for crit rate, speed, attack percent, crit damage, and then accuracy. But you can kind of max, just pass on the accuracy if you're already at 150, just whatever, it's fine. Just get up to 150. He's fairly easy to put together. He's right there when you start the game. And one of the biggest mistakes a lot of players actually make when they start raid is they don't get the boring sorcerer looking man. They don't want to get Kael. They want like the crazy awesome looking shadow elf archer girl or something. But Kael is your easy I win button. If you have questions or comments, make sure you check that description down below to help me out. Click that link down there and make sure you come back for episode 2, which we're going to be covering the War Maiden, which is something that is just an insane champion that you can gain and even farm on your raid account.